Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. You're going to find it very interesting, entertaining, educational, and I trust you're going to find it very enjoyable. We're going to count down the 9 reasons why wise people say no to atheism. These are the top 9 reasons why wise people say no to atheism. And we've talked to a lot of people, and this seems to be the top 9 reasons why people reject atheism. Do you know most people over 18 reject atheism once they hit over 18 years old? Did you know that? So let's go through the top 9 reasons why people reject atheism and why these people are wise to do so. Now what we're going to do a little twist on this. We're going to start at number 9, and then we're going to count down to the number 1 reason why people say no to atheism. And I do agree that these people that say no to atheism are wise people. You ready? Here we go. And by the way, I'm going to be bringing up some documentation and some video evidence of this. Make sure you go here to shotgunnow.net, right here to the right of the motorcycle helmet here. And when you go there, scroll down here, and we're going to talk about number 9 here, which is this one right here. You notice this question says, which takes less faith to believe? And it talks about atheism, the belief that there was nothing, and then nothing happened to nothing, and then everything exploded, and it doesn't make sense, right? And then over here it says, one day a metal can appeared and red and white paint dropped from the sky onto the metal can, spelling the words Coca-Cola. And it's talking about how there's basically proof and evidence of design and intelligence within our world, within DNA, within the cell, the complexity of the cell. So number 9 is there's too much evidence for design. There is too much evidence for design. It seems to be guided. It seems to be a language. DNA seems to be a language, and people that are wise, they don't believe that these things have come about through dumb luck and chance. Obviously, it comes from intelligence. So number 9 is there's too much evidence of design. Do you know the majority of the world are theists? And they are rejecting atheism, and I believe the reason why the majority of the world are theists is because they're seeing too much evidence of design. Now let's go to a humorous reason why people say no to atheism, and these people are wise to do so. When you go to shotgunnow.net, look at this video right here in the middle of the screen, right above where it says Shock Radio, and number 8 here is atheists' obsession with Santa Claus. When you're on the internet, especially on YouTube, type in Santa syndrome and you'll see that atheists are obsessed with Santa Claus. It doesn't seem like it's a rational way to go about providing proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct by comparing God to Santa Claus. It just doesn't make sense. And I think this is another reason why people don't understand how atheists obsess about Santa Claus. Again, if you want to see something really funny, go here to shotgunnow.net, and here's a show right here where the atheists are obsessing about Santa Claus. I mean, so much so where it's pretty weird, you know, if you ask me. You got to go check it out. Now, let's go to the next one, number 7. Number 7 is a really big problem. It's the evasiveness of atheists when you ask them a question. When you go to this website, shotgunnow.net, you're going to see this video here, right here, There Is No Atheist. And this is yours truly calling into a radio show, and if you look down here, it's 24 minutes and 18 seconds long, and I'm asking them to provide some proof and evidence that would show that atheism is accurate and correct. And for 24 minutes and 18 seconds they evade the question, and they talk about everything but proof and evidence. And so you can listen to this. Towards the end, the lady, basically, it's a lady atheist and a guy atheist, but the main host was a female, and she admits that there is no proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct, but it's basically faith-based. Now, there's certainly nothing wrong with faith if you have faith in something that you can back up, something that makes sense and is rational. But she starts talking about teapots and unicorns and, the whole Santa Claus thing. So number 7, one of the reasons why people say no to atheism, and these people are wise people to do so, is because it's evasive. Now, also, when you go to shotgunnow.net, check out this video. This was filmed at the Reason Rally, and some people are calling it the Treason Rally because it was horrible. Notice how foggy it is, because God was like, you know what, atheism's full of, is all washed up. Atheism's all washed up. I'm going to rain on the Reason Rally. So it's all cloudy there, and everyone they're being rained on from the heavens. But you must see this video where these Christians, they basically challenge an atheist to answer some very simple questions that even an elementary school child should be able to answer, and the atheist is very evasive. So number 7, and when you see this guy should win the Evasive Atheist Award. He was like Bill Clinton, when they're asking, well, I want you to listen to me. I did not have relations with that woman. I never told anybody to lie. I mean, it all depends what is. I mean, you've got to hear this. This guy would make a great politician. Number 7, evasiveness. This is another reason why wise people say no to atheism. Now, another reason why people say no to atheism is you got atheists admitting that yes, Jesus Christ could have resurrected. On this show right here, the Atheist Experience show, I pray to God that this show stays on for a long time. They're bringing so many people to Christian theism, folks. With this video here, this video is dynamite. The Atheist Experience show admits the resurrection of Jesus Christ is possible. You've got to see it. Go here, click this button, and it starts playing. Now, that is number 6. Atheists admit that Jesus Christ could have resurrected. Now, we have another problem. Take a look at this. This is the earth. Atheists actually believe that nothing made this thing. Atheists actually believe that nothing made the earth. They believe that. See, here's a problem with atheism. Modern science, I'm not talking about the outdated horse and buggy science of neo-Darwinism, which is dying. Neo-Darwinism is dying as we speak. I'm not talking about the old outdated horse and buggy days of neo-Darwinism. Darwin didn't even know the complexity of the cell or the complexity of DNA. He actually thought the cell was just like a blob of goo. He didn't really understand it. But now with modern science, we understand things like that, and we also understand that the universe had a beginning. This has shocked the scientific world, because if the universe had a beginning, the scientists have said without a doubt that means that the universe is not eternal, but it had to have a definite beginning. It began to exist. That means that energy, time, space, matter, everything came into existence. So you have nothing there, and suddenly it's there. So we have a problem, don't we? We either have to say God did it or nothing did it. Now, the rational world knows that nothing is the absence of anything, so nothing is powerless. Nothing can't do anything. It can't think. It's not intelligent. Nothing is the absence of anything. Now, some atheists will dishonestly say, well, there was energy there. Do you know that science has even said that the energy had to come into being? Energy, matter, space-time, everything had a beginning. All these material things had a beginning. There was no pre-existing material. It has to be something spiritual, something that was spiritual, not material, something that has intelligence, and we know God is a spirit, we know God is intelligent. So God creating the universe makes more sense than nothing. But if you're an atheist, of course you have to stumble and fall upon your sword and drink the Kool-Aid and say that nothing did it. You know, Lawrence Krauss is actually on the debate circuit trying to convince the rational world that nothing did it. Good luck with that, Lawrence. Good luck with that. This is why atheists are now the least trusted group in society. People just don't trust people when they believe that nothing made everything. The problem that atheists have, and this is number 5 here, is if you put 1,000 people in front of me, 1,000 people that are intelligent, and we ask them, what do you think makes more sense? Nothing did it or God did it? By far the majority are going to say God did it, because it's the rational conclusion. Nothing is the absence of anything. Now, if you'd like to see the proof and evidence that atheists have to offer, go here and click this, and you won't see anything, because they have no proof and evidence. This leads us to number 4. There is absolutely no proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Here's a little funny comic strip here. It's it's pretty funny. It says, remember those silly, childish bus billboards that Richard Dawkins had put on that said, there's probably no God? Remember that? And then let's talk about that. It said, there's probably no God, so stop worrying. Notice the key word that they're worrying, and enjoy your life. Why would the atheist be worrying? Don't you find it interesting that they would say, stop worrying? I'm a Christian. I'm not worrying. I love the fact that we have a God that will punish evil, and a God that will uphold righteousness, and that everything will be right. Everything will be just. That his judgment is true, that his justice is fair. I mean, I would worry the complete opposite if God did not exist. But notice it says there's probably no God, and stop worrying and enjoy your life. That doesn't make any sense at all. And what's really funny, if you look who's driving the bus. There's like Satan's driving the bus, and they're going off a cliff. So this whole thing about having no proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct, listen to me call into a radio show here. And basically what atheism is the religious belief in a spontaneous, causeless, sourceless, purposeless, meaningless existence. And don't forget to look at the atheist brain right here. So number 4 is there is no proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Atheism, can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? That's from the Bible, Luke 6:3-9. Another one. Let's go to our favorite people here, the Atheist Experience show. Now let me clip ahead here. Hold on a second. Look at even their atheist videos messing up. Okay, I fixed it. And you know what's interesting? I had to use intelligent design. I have a optical mouse here, and I had to use a product that is the mouse, which is a product of intelligent design, to fix the atheist video. Isn't that funny? But number 3 reason why wise people say no to atheism is, why do atheists always bash God but they never bash Satan? You ever notice that? And when you read the Bible, Satan does some really horrible things. He causes disease to come into the world. He causes mankind to stumble. He brings sin into the world. He brings judgment. And he does a lot of things. He brings infirmity and disease. I remember when Jesus was casting out demons that had possessed people and had tormented them. And so it's interesting that they never bash Satan. And this is a number 3 reason why wise people say no to atheism. They don't like how it's kind of mean-spirited, and like Richard Dawkins comes off really rude, and they don't like all the bashing of God, but they don't see atheists bashing Satan. Kind of suspicious, don't you think? Let's go to number 2, and we're building up to number 1 here, where the number 1 reason why wise people say no to atheism. Well, the number 2 reason is that atheists say that atheism is true because they don't believe God exists. Really, this doesn't make any sense. Because someone claims that they don't believe God exists, there's 2 problems there. That doesn't prove that they really don't believe God exists. They really could believe God exists, and I do believe that they believe God exists. You know, the first page of Romans says that they do believe God exists, but they suppress the truth in unrighteousness. So the statement they don't believe God exists doesn't prove anything. Now, another problem that atheists have is there is no proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct, and they just claim that they disagree and they reject all theistic proof and evidence. The problem with that is that doesn't prove that atheism is accurate and correct. Let me give you an example. Let's pretend you're a Muslim and you use the same exact claim against atheism. You say that you reject all the claims that atheism makes. You believe atheists are wrong. Let's say that also. Does that then make Islam true? See, if the atheist is saying the same thing that the Muslims say, they're both rejecting each other's view, how could both of those views be right? One of them has to be wrong. But by simply claiming that you don't believe something is correct or right or whatever, it doesn't automatically make it true. This is like a basic elementary mistake I see atheists make. They provide no proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct, and when you ask them, they simply say they reject theistic claims. My atheist friends, that's not good enough. You must provide proof and evidence. This is why theists rule the world. You know, theism is the majority of the world. Why is that? Because it makes more sense. People see number 9 here. They see that there's too much design, too much evidence for design. They don't want to be like atheists, always bashing Santa Claus and talking about Santa Claus number 8. They don't want to go ahead and obsess about that. They don't like how atheism is evasive, number 7. They are confused why people can be atheists like the Atheist Experience show, but then admit that Jesus Christ could have resurrected. Watch that video here. Amazing. Number 5, they don't think it's rational to say that nothing created everything, but that's what you have to say. To be an atheist, you have to believe that, because there was nothing and then all of a sudden something appeared. But we know that nothing is powerless to create. So it doesn't make any sense. Atheists actually believe that nothing made the earth. That's amazing to me. And then number 4, there is no proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. They never bring up anything except Santa Claus, teapots, Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster. I've heard it all. If you want to hear a video where the atheist starts cussing at me because she's getting mad because you cannot provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct, go to this one right here that says there is no atheist. The way you, and listen to it, it's absolutely hilarious. As a matter of fact, get this. She starts claiming that God is only interested in genitalia and sex organs. That just doesn't make any sense to me, but you can hear me almost dying laughing when she says that. Go to shotgunnow.net, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be faithless, but believe. Right here. Okay, so number 2 was, number 3 was atheists bash God, and they never bash Satan. Number 4 was there's no proof or evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Now, number 2 is when they claim, well, atheism is true because they simply reject theistic claims. That doesn't mean that atheism is true. You've got to give some proof and evidence showing that it's true. You've got to give an argument. I have yet to be given any proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. I have for years, it has been like 10 years now, 10 years, guys, that we've been trying to get atheists to answer this question. I beg you to make a video where you ask atheists, what proof and evidence is there that would show that atheism is accurate and correct? Now, on this radio show, I give like 6 or 7 arguments for God's existence. They don't refute any of them. yet they don't give me any arguments against God's existence. So in a debate format, I won that debate, very humbly speaking, as I bow my head really low in humbleness. But the number one reason, ladies and gentlemen, the number one reason why people reject atheism, why do wise people reject atheism? And here it is. And it has to do with modern science. Modern science has shown that the universe and everything within it is dying. It's winding down. It's going to die. Now, as a theist, if you're a Christian, you believe that when you die, you live on. There's a spiritual realm. You believe as a Christian that everything you do has ramifications. You will be rewarded for the good you do. And people that are not saved, we do believe that there is a punishment. There's a separation from God. We believe that hell exists. So the problem, though, is on the atheist view, they are saying they don't believe in an eternal life. They don't believe that. Some of them will say they become one with the universe, and they don't believe in a heaven or hell. But we know that the universe is going to die. So if the atheist becomes one with the universe, the eventual outcome of the atheist is death. Another problem is any good that an atheist does in this world really doesn't matter. Because on their view, everything ends in death anyway. Sometimes you'll hear this hogwash that the atheists are going to try to improve humanity and all this. Well, why? Since on your view, it ends in death. Purposeless death. Atheism ends in failure. I want you to imagine you're reading a book right now. And the book is called Atheist. And you want to find out how the book ends. Well, you'll read about a group of people trying to change the world. And then you'll read about the universe dying. This is on their worldview, by the way, not my worldview. This is what they'll tell you to your face. And then you'll read about the world dying, the universe dying, everything dying, and everything was purposeless. It was madness in its purest form. I don't know why atheists take their atheism so seriously, because on their worldview it ends in utter and total failure. No one will remember the good that any atheist did. No justice will be done on any evil that atheists did. On their worldview, there's no reason to even do good on the atheist worldview. Why? Why should you? It's not going to make any difference in the big scheme of things. You can pretend that it's making a big difference, but in reality, we all know on the atheist worldview, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans. On the atheist worldview, it ends in utter, total failure. Universe dies. Humanity dies. Everything dies. Now, let's contrast that with the Christian theist worldview. The Christian theist doesn't hold that worldview. We believe that we're going to have a new heaven and a new earth. We do believe in the spiritual realm. We do believe in a system of judgments and a system of rewards. And we do believe in salvation through Jesus Christ. And this is why so many people become Christians. We see the evil within the world. It's undeniable that evil's in the world, and also good's in the world. But we see real evil and we see real good. If we were just atheist flesh blobs walking around, we wouldn't have these feelings of objective morality that there is real evil and real good in the world. But those feelings are there. Those emotions are there. The objective morality is there. I've even seen atheist judges slam down their gavel and point their finger at the murderer, Mr. Johnson, what you did was evil. So we do have good and evil in the world, and no one can believe that it comes just from matter and from energy. There is an intelligence. It is undeniable. There's an intelligence within the world, within DNA. there's an order within the universe. It's phenomenal. But this is the number one reason why wise people say no to atheism. On the atheist world, and they can't deny it, on the atheist worldview, I should say, they can't deny it. The universe dies, everything was pointless. It's just like what this poster here says. Atheism, the religious belief in a spontaneous, causeless, sourceless, purposeless, meaningless existence. And that, my friends, is the top 9 reasons why wise people say no to atheism.